Are you tired of spending a fortune on watery, nutrient-depleted juices from the store? Finding the perfect cold-pressed juicer can transform your mornings, but choose the wrong one, and you'll be stuck with a messy, frustrating chore. I have narrowed down the absolute best cold-pressed juicers available today, ranking them from number 7 all the way down to number 1. Make sure you stick around for our number 1 pick, because it features a revolutionary design that completely shattered my expectations and changed how I look at morning juicing forever. 7. Kuvings AUTO10. The Kuvings is a machine that makes a very bold promise right out of the gate with its massive 3,000 milliliter hopper. The entire selling point here is hands-free batch juicing. You are supposed to be able to load up an entire recipe's worth of whole fruits and vegetables, turn the dial, and walk away while it does all the heavy lifting. When I first unboxed it, the build quality felt incredibly premium, and the sheer size of the hopper definitely commanded attention on my kitchen counter. During my initial tests with basic recipes involving whole apples and large chunks of cucumber, the machine performed adequately. The auger slowly pulls the produce down, and you can watch the juice start to flow into the pitcher. It really does offer a hands-off experience for the most basic, watery fruits. The juice quality itself is quite good, with a nice, vibrant color and very little foam, which indicates that the slow cold pressing mechanism is doing its job to prevent oxidation. However, my enthusiasm quickly took a hit once I started incorporating more complex, fibrous ingredients into my daily testing routine. Despite the auto in its name, dropping in whole stalks of celery or unpeeled carrots often resulted in the machine struggling and occasionally jamming. I found myself having to stand next to this supposedly hands-free machine, waiting to hit the reverse button just to unstick a stubborn piece of ginger. It became apparent that to keep it running smoothly, I still had to do a fair amount of prep work, which largely defeats the purpose of having a giant hopper. Furthermore, the physical footprint of the AUTO10 is quite dominating. Number 6. Hurom H-AA. This is a juicer that immediately scores points for its gorgeous, sleek design. Hurom is an incredibly respected name in the slow juicing world, and the H-AA features their vaunted alpha technology, promising optimized extraction and easier cleaning. On the counter, it looks like a modern piece of art, featuring a slim profile that won't completely take over your available workspace. When I put the Hurom H-AA to the test with softer fruits like oranges, berries, and grapes, the results were genuinely outstanding. The slow 43 revolutions per minute motor works quietly and methodically, pressing the ingredients with a gentle touch. The juice that comes out is incredibly smooth, rich in flavor, and practically free of separation. It also comes with a control lever that allows you to adjust the width of the pulp ejection port, which theoretically gives you a bit more control over the texture of your final drink. But the daily usability of the Hurom H-AA quickly frustrated me when it came time to make my staple green juices. The feed chute on this model is incredibly narrow, perhaps one of the most restrictive I have used in this price bracket. Because of this design choice, I found myself spending an agonizing amount of time standing at the cutting board. Every single apple, beet, and carrot had to be chopped into tiny, bite-sized pieces before they could even fit into the machine. This extensive prep time turns what should be a quick morning routine into a genuine chore. Even with perfectly chopped produce, feeding the ingredients into the narrow opening is a slow one-by-one process. You essentially have to babysit the machine from start to finish. 5. Nutribullet Slow Juicer. Nutribullet is famous for their high-speed blenders, so I was incredibly curious to see how they would handle the delicate process of cold pressing. Right out of the box, I was struck by how compact and approachable this unit is. It doesn't look intimidating, and it feels designed for the everyday user who wants to get into juicing without feeling like they are operating heavy machinery. What really impressed me during my testing was the torque of the motor paired with its wide feed chute. Unlike the previous model, the Nutribullet allows you to drop in significantly larger chunks of produce. I was able to toss in large halves of apples and whole, thick carrots without reaching for my knife. The motor effortlessly grabbed the ingredients and pulled them down into the crushing chamber with a surprisingly quiet hum. The yield on this machine is fantastic for its category. When making a classic carrot, apple, and ginger blend, the pulp that exited the machine was impressively dry, showing that the auger was successfully squeezing out a high percentage of the liquid. The juice itself was vibrant, with very little foam, and it tasted as fresh and crisp as juices I've made in machines that cost twice as much. Another huge advantage of the Nutribullet Slow Juicer is its streamlined operation. There are no confusing settings or adjustable levers to mess with. You simply turn it on and start feeding it. This simplicity makes it an absolute joy to use, especially when you are half awake in the morning. It handles mixed produce beautifully, easily transitioning from a soft orange to a hard beet without skipping a beat. Number 4. Nama J3. This is an absolute marvel of compact engineering. Nama has built a massive reputation in the juicing community, and the J3 is designed to bring their top-tier technology into a smaller, more space-conscious package. If you have limited counter space, live in an apartment, or generally just juice for yourself, this machine feels like it was tailor-made for your exact needs. Testing the Nama J3 was a genuinely delightful experience. It utilizes a batch loading concept similar to its larger siblings, just on a scaled-down level. You can fill the top hopper with your recipe, close the lid, and let it work. Watching the internal blades slice and feed the ingredients into the auger is mesmerizing, and it handles the entire process with an elegance that is hard to find in smaller appliances. The nutrient extraction on the J3 is phenomenal. I ran a heavy green juice test using massive handfuls of kale, celery, and cucumber. The machine squeezed every possible drop out of the greens, resulting in bone-dry pulp and a remarkably deep, dark green juice. Because the pressing process is so slow and methodical, the flavor profile of the juice is incredibly clean, allowing the natural sweetness of the vegetables to really shine through without any muddy undertones. One of my favorite things about the Nama J3 is just how stealthy it is. The motor is whisper quiet. I was able to run a full juicing session early in the morning without waking up anyone else in the house. It operates smoothly without any of the aggressive shaking or grinding noises you often get when processing dense root vegetables in other compact juicers. 3. Ninja NeverClog. When a company puts the word NeverClog directly in the title of their product, they are setting a very high bar, and I was fully prepared to put that claim to the ultimate test. Ninja is known for aggressive, powerful kitchen gear, and this sleek horizontal masticating juicer brings that exact energy to the cold press market. To test the clog-free claim, I intentionally pushed the limits. I fed it long, unchopped strings of celery, thick pieces of fibrous pineapple, and stubborn knobs of ginger, the exact ingredients that typically bring juicers to a grinding halt. The Ninja powered through all of it without a single hesitation. The powerful auger continuously chewed and pushed the fiber straight out of the ejection port, maintaining a steady flow of juice the entire time. What makes this machine truly stand out is its customizable pulp control. It comes with 2 interchangeable filters, one for less pulp and one for lots of pulp. I absolutely loved having this level of control. When I wanted a crystal clear, refreshing cucumber and apple juice, the fine filter delivered perfectly. When I craved a more robust, full-bodied orange juice with plenty of texture, the high pulp filter performed flawlessly. The physical design is also a massive win. Because it is a horizontal juicer, it sits low on the counter and easily slides completely out of the way under standard kitchen cabinets. It feels sturdy and well-built, gripping the counter securely so it doesn't walk around while chewing through hard vegetables. Perhaps the biggest quality of life feature is that all the removable parts are entirely dishwasher safe. For someone who juices daily, this is an absolute game changer. Number 2. Omega H-3000D. Omega has been the gold standard in horizontal masticating juicers for decades, and the H3000D continues that legacy of absolute reliability and raw extraction power. This machine has a classic, no-nonsense aesthetic. It doesn't rely on flashy gimmicks. It relies on a proven, heavy-duty design that health enthusiasts have trusted for years. If your primary goal is juicing leafy greens, wheatgrass, and herbs, this is the machine you want. During my testing, I fed it massive bunches of spinach, parsley, and tough kale stems. The Omega's slow, horizontal auger grips the leaves perfectly, wringing them out like a wet towel. The yield on greens is exponentially higher with the Omega than almost anything else on the market, producing a dark, nutrient-dense liquid that represents the absolute peak of juicing health. Operating at a very low speed of 90 RPMs, the Omega ensures that heat buildup and oxidation are kept to an absolute bare minimum. I actually tested this by keeping a jar of Omega pressed juice in the fridge for 3 days. It maintained its bright color, crisp taste, and nutritional integrity without separating or turning brown, which is a testament to the quality of the cold press extraction. Beyond just juicing, the versatility of the H3000D is astounding. It includes blank cones that turn the machine into a multi-purpose nutrition center. I easily swapped the attachments and used it to extrude fresh pasta, grind my own coffee beans, and even make a completely smooth, all-natural peanut butter from scratch. It is incredibly rewarding to have one machine perform so many different healthy tasks. The Omega operates with a reassuring, quiet strength, and it is famously easy to clean due to the small surface area of the juicing screen. Number 1. Nama J2 Cold. Remember that revolutionary design I mentioned at the beginning of the video? This is it. The Nama J2 has fundamentally changed the landscape of juicing. It takes the absolute best elements of cold press technology and pairs it with an unparalleled user experience that essentially removes all the tedious labor from making fresh juice. The magic of the J2 lies in its massive, brilliantly engineered batch hopper. During my tests, I took an entire recipe, 2 whole peeled oranges, a handful of carrots, a chunk of ginger, and an entire head of celery, loaded it all into the hopper at once, shut the lid, and simply flipped the switch. I was able to walk away, wipe down my cutting board, and check my emails while the internal blade automatically sliced and fed the ingredients into the slow-pressing auger. It is truly hands-free batch juicing that actually works flawlessly. The yield and quality of the juice are simply unmatched. The J2 extracts a massive amount of liquid, leaving behind pulp that feels like dry sawdust. The flavor is incredibly pure, smooth, and bursting with vibrant, unoxidized freshness. Because you aren't feeding ingredients one by one, the machine effortlessly blends the flavors together inside the chamber before you ever open the spout, resulting in a perfectly mixed, perfectly balanced beverage every single time. What surprised me the most was how well it handled transitioning between wildly different textures in the same batch. Soft berries, hard root vegetables, and stringy leafy greens were all processed simultaneously without a single jam, stutter, or clog. It simply chews through whatever you give it with a quiet, relentless efficiency that leaves you in awe of the engineering.